now getting set for the NIT selections for this 32-team National Invitation Tournament. And when I said I was going to do this, I was under the impression the selection show was going to be shown on TV. It is not. So I am going to have to do this a different way. As there is no TV coverage for the NIT Selection Show this year. I should have looked that up before I agreed to do this. So we are going to have to do this a different way than what I thought I was going to have to do this. I'm going to show you just the plain bracket here. I don't know if I can edit this or not. I have no earthly idea why this thing is not being televised this year. If I had looked that up and known that ahead of time, I probably would not have agreed to do this one. So here's what I'm going to have to do, I think. I think I'm going to have to... First of all, I'm going to have to open a different thing here. Give me just a second, folks. I do apologize. I should have double-checked this first, as I said. Bear with me just a second here, everybody. All right, well, so no. Again, folks, give me a couple seconds here. I do apologize again. Is it on ESPN too? Okay, because I just looked it up and it said that no television coverage is available. So I was going to have to pull it up on the screen somehow. I do know those first four teams, as long as they accepted bids, that would have been Oklahoma, Auburn's, well, three of them, Oklahoma, Auburn, and San Diego State will be number one seeds in the NIT as long as they as long as they accepted. Nah, ESPN2's got College Game Night. ESPNU has whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so it's there's no TV coverage, so which is dumb. So I am trying to figure out how to do this. Yeah, ESPN's got bracketology. Yeah, there's none of the ESPN affiliates that are carrying this, even though they have the rights to the NIT, so which is odd, but we'll see here. one thing I'm going to try here. This is my fault. I should have double checked this before I said I was going to go on for this. There's nothing coming up. Yeah, I saw that Indiana and Seton. Well, Indiana being that college basketball crown because that crown tournament's contracted with the Big Ten and Big East, and so yeah. But Indiana, yeah. Don't even get me started on teams that decline postseason bids. That's just going to get me all riled up, and I don't. Yeah, Indiana, Seton Hall, Virginia Tech, and Belmont so far have come out that I've heard and said that they are not accepting anything other than an NCAA bid. And like I say, I could say on here what I think of schools that do that, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I think we might be in business here. No, we're not. Oh, it looks like some teams have been announced, but I don't know. Okay, Auburn is going to be a #1 seed in one of the regions in the NIT, so that has been announced. But I can't seem to get folks, I assure you this is not how I plan on this going. San Diego State turned. I had not seen that. Yeah, Belmont. The thing that gets me with Belmont, I'm going to try again in a couple of minutes, but I'd like to just talk to you guys here on the live chat right now. Until I can figure out if this is if I can get this to see the full field or not. But yeah, the Belmont thing is that yes, they lost their coach to Kansas State. There is absolutely zero reason an assistant coach for Belmont could not have coached them in the NIT run. Absolutely no. That's no. Absolutely zero reason that Belmont could not have had that an assistant could not have coached them. Yeah, that's weak as far as if you ask me. And I think the thing is, I think all these athletic directors of these schools are all under the assumption anymore that if the school does not make the NCAA tournament, that the players are not going to want to play in postseason play if it's not the NCAA tournament. And that is just simply not true. It looks like Belmont here is a perfect example of that. I mean, I don't think half of these athletic directors even ask the team what their thoughts are on it. They just, I think, automatically assume that, well, we're not going to want to play in it. And no, and that's just simply not the case. And so I don't know. If you take a vote of your players and you have a bunch of your players saying they don't want to play, it's not the NCAA tournament, they don't want to play. I have a word that I call those players. I'm not going to use that word on here, but I felt the same way in the college football playoff this last year with Notre Dame. I think it was Iowa State and Kansas State. Yeah, teams not accepting NIT or even crown bids. I mean, it's not the NCAA tournament, so we don't want to, the athletic director, we don't want to play if we don't get an NCAA tournament. That's horse crap. There's no CBI this year. So you've got the NCAA tournament, you've got the NIT, and you've got the crown. Well, that is a total of, what is that, 116 teams out of 300 and whatever it is we have in Division I now, 365. There's 116 teams playing postseason ball. That is still only less than 1/3 of college basketball that gets to play postseason play. If you get a postseason bid, take it. Because you are still in the minority as far as getting a postseason bid. That's why it absolutely befuddles me why these teams, just because they don't get an NCAA bid, first of all, if you're angry that you didn't get an NCAA bid, maybe play better throughout the season next time and you can probably get one. Second of all, Seton Hall is one of these teams that has declined an NIT. They went and won the NIT 2 years ago. And I can almost guarantee you, and in fact, I guarantee you, I was at that championship game 2 years ago at Hinkle Fieldhouse there in Indianapolis with Seton Hall and Indiana State. That was a big moment for Seton Hall. You saw it on those kids' faces. You won yourself a championship in the NIT, and now you're coming back. Yeah, they had a disastrous season last year. Bounced back phenomenally this year with a great season. Finished, I think, 5th in the Big East this year. After that disaster of a season last year, you still have an opportunity to play postseason ball, and you're passing? I'm sorry. No, that's... I'm sorry. No. Yes, I love this part on the live chat. Yeah, take it. Don't be a brat. Yes, that's exactly what I say. I do not get it. I absolutely do not get it. I'm still trying to figure out here if there's looks like most of the teams are out, but it has still not officially been. Aha! Here we go. Okay. Nope, that's not okay. I'm sorry. That's the NCAA bracket. Excuse me. I'm on this thing. It says NIT field and pairing announced, and then right above it, it says bracket. I click bracket. It shows the NCAA bracket. So anyway, let's just talk for a few more minutes, but anyway, I mean, I don't understand the logic of you have a chance to play more basketball and you still have a chance to bring home a championship. I don't get it. I cannot figure out why. Yes, it's not the big tournament. Yes, it's not the tournament you want to be in. And the long-term goal before the season. Yes, it's not the tournament you want to play in. But if you still have an opportunity to play postseason ball, take the opportunity. And there's a couple schools that think this. You are not above the NIT or crown tournaments because obviously you were not good enough to get in the NCAA tournament. So sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent like that, but it just absolutely befuddles me. Only 3 postseason tournaments this year, as I mentioned. There is no CBI tournament this year. The CBI came out earlier in the week and said, due to circumstances beyond our control, whatever in the world that means, that there would be no CBI tournament contested here in 2026. Forrest David just put a post in the live chat. If your players are going to jump, why hang around? The old days were better in this aspect. Well, if you have players that don't want to play, fine. But I guarantee you will have enough players on your team that would still be wanting to play, and you can go with the players that actually still want to fight. And so as long as you have enough players to field a team, as far as I'm concerned, that's as long as you have enough players to field a team, go out there and do what you can. And I know this will never happen, but the way I see it is this. If you decline a postseason bid, there should be something in the bylaws or something. If you decline a postseason bid, you're ineligible the next year for anything. So I know that'll never happen, but I would like to see some kind of aspect. Yeah, the backup will certainly play. Yeah, absolutely. If you have, I guess, 5 players that would be willing to go out there, give it what you got. You give, and which it makes even less sense to me because the transfer portal, they changed it this year. It does not open now until the day after the NCAA championship game. So there's even more reason this year to not decline, other than your feelings are hurt that you didn't get a bid into the main tournament, which I've already said my views on that. I'm still hoping to refresh this, seeing if the bracket will come up. But it's still just doing the little circle, 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 circle thing. Oh, we may finally be in business here. Oh, can I blow this up? Yes, I can. Okay. Hey, everybody. We have a bracket now. So we can now go through and look at all these matchups here. Or Christian bid, or worse, the school should be banned for a year in college. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. There should be some kind of bylaw in place. If you decline a postseason bid, that should automatically make you ineligible the following season for any kind of postseason, because there's no reason for it. We have a bracket now, kids, so we're going to go through this. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. Hang on, let me get the right window up here. Hang on just a second. Here we go. All right. Upper left-hand corner. Auburn, number 1 seed in one region of the NIT, 17-16 on the season. They get to host. And, of course, before I go any further, NIT has that thing, 2 auto bids for the SEC, Big 12, and all that. So those 2 conferences automatically get 2 bids. It's the 2 highest teams that did not get the NCAA tournament bid. They get the automatic NIT bid. Auburn will host South Alabama in round 1. Now, South Alabama got an auto bid because there was that little bit of a mix-up last year when the NIT picked South Alabama, but there was another team that had already gotten into the bracket that filled the bracket. I can't remember offhand what that team was now. So South Alabama got the auto bid because of that little bit of a mix-up. Well, yeah, Auburn got in as the number 1 seed too. So that's why South Alabama is in here. So Auburn and South Alabama in one first-round matchup. That will be on Tuesday. The number 4 seed in this region that could be possibly paired up against Auburn in round 2, Seattle University out of the West Coast Conference, their first year in the WCC, a 20-win year for Seattle. They will be hosting a first round game. Yeah, Auburn has the most talent in the tournament. They're not playing well. Yeah, that's how they were even, because they were the second team out in the NCAA. How in the world they were even that close is beyond me. I know, yes, they beat Florida and they have a couple good wins. They had 16 losses. So anyway, Seattle's first round opponent is going to be St. Thomas of Minnesota. I believe this is their first year of eligibility, moving up from D3, I believe 4 years ago. And now they get the bid out of the Summit League, a 24-win team. Yeah. Yeah, Auburn, I agree with you. Auburn had no business even tasting the tournament. Like I said, how they were even as close as they were is beyond me. But Seattle and St. Thomas, a good mid-major matchup there in the first round on Tuesday. Panning on down to the number 3 seed, George Mason. They went out very early, surprisingly, in the A10 tournament. They end up getting a 3 seed in the NIT here. They have a chance to make a deep run, I think, in the NIT. Their first round opponent's going to be the Liberty Flames. Liberty got an at-large bid as the regular season champions in Conference USA, but they fell short in the conference title game. Thought Auburn was going to slide in when BP was on that. Well, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering because whenever I saw Miami of Ohio come up as a play-in, as in the first, not play-in, as a first 4 team, I thought, Auburn's going to sneak in above them, but it was not to be the case. But George Mason and Liberty here, that'll be the first game of the NIT. That tips at 6 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday. The Nevada Wolfpack out of the Mountain West get an at-large bid at 22-12 on the season. Yeah, George Mason, I agree with the live chatter. Yeah, George Mason, I was surprised to see them go out as early as they did in the A10 tournament. But that is a very good team. Yeah, I agree. They could be a factor here on this side. Nevada, the 2 seed, they will be facing the Racers of Murray State, getting the at-large out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Murray State got thumped in their conference quarterfinal to UIC, but still get the at-large bid out of the Missouri Valley. So that is one side. That's the upper left-hand side of the bracket in the NIT. Let's go down now to the second part, and Wake Forest, a number 1 seed out of the ACC. If Wake Forest gets in there, well, Indiana, like I said, they declined anyway. They would have gone to the Crown anyway. They would not have been eligible for the NIT because of that Big Ten tie-in with the Crown. Is that what it was with the CBI? I wondered what it was. I mean, you still can't tell me you couldn't find, what is that, 16 teams in that? You couldn't find 16 teams for that thing? Well, I think, guys, it is what it is. Anyway, Wake Forest here gets a number 1 seed out of the ACC. Their opening opponent will be Navy. Navy, they had the auto bid as the regular season champions in the Patriot League, and their net and all that was still in the top 125. So Navy did get the auto bid into the NIT. Haven't seen Utah. I don't think Utah is going to be in here. Unless you got enough team, and Utah can't be in the NIT anyway because the Big 12 pretty sure has the tie-in with the Crown tournament. So number 4 seed in this region Illinois State, there's a second team out of the Missouri Valley. Illinois State at 20-12. They won the CBI last year, and they get in here as a number 4 seed. Mississippi Valley. Did you see that funny post that somebody from Mississippi Valley or somebody put on X today on social media? It was hilarious. If you have a chance to look at it, you need to look at that. Illinois State, the 4 seed, they will take on the Golden Flashes of Kent State out of the MAC. That is a great first-round matchup. I've seen both of those teams this year. That is a very good first-round matchup. That game needs to actually be on one of the linear ESPN channels. I see they demoted that one to ESPN Plus. That's a mistake, as that is going to be a very intriguing first-round matchup. Conservative Cowboy, Auburn should have made the NCAA tournament. I get the schedule. 16 losses. 16 losses. You're one game above 500. I get the quad 1 wins in the schedule, but 16 losses. Okay. Illinois State, Kent State there in that game. The number 3 seed, Yale, a surprising loss in the Ivy League championship game today to Penn, but they do get a 3 seed and get to host a first-round game in the NIT. Yale's first opponent will be UNC Wilmington out of this CAA. I keep wanting to call it what it used to be called. It's Coastal Athletic Association now. I keep wanting to refer back to its old name. I have to catch myself. UNC Wilmington out of the CAA getting the bid. Line play. Oklahoma. I was actually surprised to see both Texas and NC State in there. And when I was doing I didn't have either one of those teams in there. So it kind of surprised me when I saw both NC State and Texas in there. Forrest, Auburn. I get if you put Auburn up against some of these teams, they're probably going to be favored. Yes. If it was meant, you can't put a 16-loss team in the field. I mean, it's the final matchup here, the number 2 seed Dayton Flyers. Dayton going out in the championship game of the A10 earlier today, losing to VCU, and they can't host because Dayton UD Arena is the first 4 host. So Dayton has to go on the road, and they will go to Bradley. That's the 3rd team from the Missouri Valley in the NIT. Bradley at 21-12, and they get to host Dayton due to UD Arena being used for the first 4. I'm enjoying all you guys' live chats here. That Derry Davis, Alabama fan, Auburn, a rival, due respect. Yeah, I mean, that's what goes back to what I'm saying. I mean, you can't. Yeah, hats off to Auburn for taking it. I mean, I can say you still have a chance to win a championship. Go out there and give it what you got. I mean, season didn't go like you planned, but you still have a chance at something. So, there's half the field. Let's go now to the other side of the bracket and the number 1 seed, and this is the upper right portion. Lobos of New Mexico out of the Mountain West. I think they were in the second 4 out category, but they do get a number 1 seed here and get to host in the Pit. That arena I've never been to, but that is one of the arenas on my bucket list, the Pit there in Albuquerque. Hope to get there one of these days. New Mexico's first opponent will be Sam Houston out of Conference USA, a 22-win team. That's 2 teams, 22-11 and 23-10. That should be an intriguing first-round matchup. Line play, yeah, the Utah Valley. Yeah, that was a tough break for Utah Valley last night, blowing that dunk that could have tied that game. Yeah, that was a tough break for Utah Valley last night. Tough way to lose that one. Let's see if they're going to be part of the NIT field here. Number 4 seed. Well, we're right where we're talking about them. There they are, Utah Valley. Heartbreaking loss in the WAC title game last night, but they do get to host a first-round NIT game as the number 4 seed. Utah Valley's first opponent will be George Washington out of the A10. George Washington at 18-15 on the season. They do get the bid into the NIT here. They have to make a near cross-country trip there to Utah Valley for their first round matchup. Number 3 seed Rams of Colorado State. There's another Mountain West team in there. Hang on, guys. I'm going to pan this up a little bit. I didn't realize my face was hiding the one side there. There's Colorado State. University of Utah did not make NIT. No, well, their record was not going to, plus they'd be tied into the crown anyway. They're a Big 12 team, so they'd be going to the college basketball crown. Christian, let me do the rest of this side of the bracket, and then I'll explain what's going on with the WAC there, Christian. Colorado State's first opponent will be the Hawks of St. Joseph's, another A10 team into the field. There's a couple of 20-plus win teams as well out there in Fort Collins. The final host here, number 2, the Cal Golden Bears out of the ACC. They were kind of in the bubble talk for a while, but then going out early in the ACC tournament doomed their NCAA chances. Yeah, congrats. Hats off to Navy. I know they had a great season. They had that tough, hard luck loss in the Patriot League tournament there, but good to see Navy get the postseason bid here. Yeah, I agree. California's first round opponent will be the Flames of UIC. That's the 4th team in out of the Missouri Valley. UIC made the run to the Missouri Valley Conference title game before losing to Northern Iowa in that title game. I just kind of showed you the top seed in the other part of the region, or in the other part of the bracket there. Cal and UIC to wrap up that upper right-hand side there. Christian, before I move on to this last side, the WAC, let me explain the situation with the WAC. The WAC is actually dissolving. The WAC conference is no more after June 30th. They're going to be some kind of affiliation with the ASUN and the remaining WAC school. There's only 3 teams left in the conference because everybody else is either moving to the Big West or I think a couple are going to the Pac-12. So they only had 3 teams remaining. So they are going to become the United Athletic Conference. They're doing a little merger with the ASUN. So they've already done that for football. Now they're going to do it for all sports. And so they're going to combine those two somehow. So it's going to become what's called the United Athletic Conference or United Alliance Conference. I think United Athletic Conference, I think. And so that's what they're doing with the WAC. Yeah, the WAC is just, it couldn't keep up, I guess. Every team's kept leaving, and they were only left with 3 members. So they had to kind of dissolve it and just do this alliance with the ASUN. So that's the situation with the WAC. We've got one more region to show you. I kind of already showed you a part of it here, but the number 1 seed in the final region, the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. Yeah, Pac-12 was dissolved. Pac-12 is actually coming back next year. Gonzaga with a whole bunch of new schools. United Athletic, you don't like that name? United Athletic Conference? Yeah. They've been doing it for football, like I said, for a couple years. And now it's just going to become an all-sport thing. Tulsa going down yesterday in the semifinals in the American Conference to Wichita State. They're the 1 seed. They will be taking on Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin had the auto bid out of the Southland as the regular season champion. They fell short in the conference tournament, but they are able to get the at-large bid here to the NIT. 4 seed in this region, UC Irvine. UC Irvine going down in the Big West title game last night to Hawaii. They do get a 4 seed here. They will be taking on the Rebels of UNLV at large bid out of the Mountain West. So we've got a lot of multi-teams here from these mid-major conferences. Here's another American athletic team that gets the 3 seed and hosting duties. Shockers of Wichita State. Wichita State going down in the conference tournament title game in the American today to South Florida. Wichita State will be playing the Cowboys of Wyoming. There's another Mountain West team into the field. Yeah, Stephen F. Austin, had a great regular season. Again, fell short there in the conference tournament. And the Southland Conference just not high enough there to warrant an at-large team. But Stephen F. Austin, I think, could be a dangerous team here. And that's a dangerous first-round matchup for Tulsa there, Stephen F. Austin. Wichita State and Wyoming here. Two more teams left. The number 2 seed, Cowboys of Oklahoma State. 19-14 on the season. They get the at-large bid. They will be hosting the Wildcats of Davidson, another A10 team into the NIT 20-win school. 20-13 on the year are the Davidson Wildcats. So that is the 32-team field in this year's NIT. Now I want to pan back out and count exactly how many power conference teams we have here. We've got Auburn up there in the upper left. We've got Wake Forest. We've got Cal. So that's... And we've got Oklahoma State. So we have just like last year in the NIT, we only have 4 power conference teams in this NIT field. We've got Auburn out of the SEC, Wake Forest out of the ACC, Cal out of the ACC, and Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. So we have 2 ACC teams, 1 Big 12 team, and 1 SEC team. I may be wrong then on the Big 12. I thought the Big 12 was contracted with the Crown only. But apparently that is incorrect because we have Oklahoma State in here. So I'm obviously wrong on thinking that the Big 12 was only contracted for the Crown. But nonetheless, I've got to be missing an SEC team in here because I thought they were always guaranteed two NIT teams in this new format. But there's not, though. There's just the one from Auburn. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good bracket. Pro-Am go. Well, doing crown bracket reveal. Well, I can if I can figure out. I don't know when that gets announced. Find out here real quick when that gets announced. Yeah, if it comes on here in the next 30 minutes, yeah, I can do a reveal of that if you want to. It doesn't say exactly when that crown comes or when that bracket comes out. Let me look one more place here real quick. What am I looking for here? Well, I don't know. It doesn't say exactly when that bracket's going to be revealed. I don't see they've even posted anything since February on their site on X here. So I don't know if I had some idea when that bracket was going to get released. I could. Lima plays line play, excuse me, and the live chat. No, the CIT got I think that folded after 2024. So the CIT has no longer been a thing for the last couple of years. So we do just have the 3 tournaments now: the NCAA tournament, the NIT, and the college basketball crown are the only 3 tournaments remaining in college basketball on the men's side anyway. Yeah, the CIT, it really lost its luster there. I think the last year they had it, which was 2024, I think it only had like 11 teams. So that's, I believe, what the CBI had last year as well. So we have got, let me look at this bracket one more time and count that we have got, let's see, there's count the teams from the particular conferences here. The A10 has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams out of the A10 here in the NIT field. Missouri Valley has 4. And the Mountain West, the other big one, it's got 1, 2. I'm sorry, I think I missed an A10 team, and there's 6 teams out of the A10. Is that right? George Mason. Well, let's count the A10 teams in here. George Mason. You've got Dayton, George Washington, St. Joseph's, Davidson. Yeah, I guess it's just the 5. Okay. Missouri Valley has 4. The Mountain West, you've got Nevada, you've got New Mexico, Colorado State, UNLV, and Wyoming. So 5 more out of the Mountain West. So the A10, the Missouri Valley, and the Mountain West are about half the field. Yeah, 5 in the Mountain West, 5 in the A10, and 4 from the Missouri Valley. So that's pretty good output there. And then the American has Wichita State, Tulsa. Is that it? Okay, yeah, I guess American just has the 2. All right. Well, anyway, so Georgia Southern. Yeah, I actually have not watched a lot of Georgia Southern, but is that, I believe they were the team in the Sun Belt that made that, what they get, like they won 4 games and lost on their 5th or something, because the Sun Belt has that ladder format that rewards the regular season champions where they don't have to play until later. But didn't they have a 4-win run or something? And then finally got beat, probably because they just ran out of gas there. So looking at this NIT bracket, let's look at this here and see. Timothy O'Hara going with New Mexico and Auburn in the championship game. Let's see. Auburn's got... Yeah, Auburn's got a pretty favorite. That George Mason game could be a problem. And again, we'll have to wait and see how Auburn, a lot of these teams that do end up making the NIT, maybe don't put their full effort out. So we'll see. But yeah, if Auburn plays like they're capable of playing, yeah, they have a chance to make a very deep run. And New Mexico here, they don't actually have that bad of a region either, do they? If they're going to stay at home, Cal would probably be. Now, Colorado State's a conference foe, so they know each other. I could see that, New Mexico and Auburn in the way. Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, that looks like a pretty favorable draw for both of them. Liberty fans are upset they're not seeded. Yeah, they've got a tough first round game with George Mason, too. So that's. Sounds like Liberty was in the same boat that Miami of Ohio was, that almost kept Miami of Ohio out of the NCAA tournament, although they got a first four. But from what I was understanding, from what the selection committee had said, they were the top first four teams selected. So they were not the last at-large team in. So it looks like Miami of Ohio could have afforded a couple of seed stealers. There are bid stealers there in conference tournaments, and they still would have been fine. Everybody's got their own view. Go back to the NCAA tournament here for a minute. Everybody's got their own view of Miami of Ohio. But I don't care who you're playing. If you go undefeated in 31 games, I don't care who your schedule is. That's tough to do. And now going out in their first game in the quarterfinal round in the conference tournament obviously didn't help matters. But Timothy says, truthfully, all the number one seeds should make it to Indianapolis. So we'd have Auburn, New Mexico. We've already discussed them. Tulsa does not have an easy go. I think Tulsa, of the four number one seeds. Yeah, of the four number one seeds, I think Tulsa's got the toughest road. Because that's not an easy first game, Stephen F. Austin. And then you get either UC Irvine or UNLV. You probably figure they could probably beat either one of those. But then down the road, if it ends up holding chalk, you've got Tulsa, Oklahoma State in the quarterfinals. And that, again, Oklahoma State's another one of those teams. If they play like they're capable of playing, they can make some noise in this tournament too, I think. That would be an interesting second round matchup too if it ends up Wichita State, Oklahoma State. If Miami, Ohio's in the Mountain West, they'd be the 8th best team. I think I know what the selection committee did with them. I'm not going to say I'm going to guarantee what happened, but I can almost bet you what happened with the selection committee with Miami of Ohio was this. Selection committee gathered and said, okay, because look at that first four matchup they got. Granted, they got the first four game in Dayton, which is an hour from their campus in Oxford. So it's going to be pretty much a home game for Miami of Ohio. But what I bet you the committee did with Miami of Ohio was they got in the room talking to Miami of Ohio. They're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and put you in, but we're going to give you a first four matchup with a power conference team. And we'll see if you're actually capable of winning these games. I almost guarantee you that's what the selection committee was doing with Miami. We're going to go ahead and put you in, but we're going to show you, you're going to have to show us that you were deserving to be in this field because you're going to get a power conference team right out of the gate in SMU. And then if you win that game, I don't have the bracket in front of me, but I think they play Tennessee if they get past that first game, if I'm not mistaken. South Carolina should have been in the NIT. I'm actually going on now to see if there's an official list of teams that declined bids. I know we have Belmont, Virginia Tech, and Seton Hall. The three that I know of. Okay, Florida State was another team that declined. Why? Why would Florida State decline? You weren't even anywhere in the picture for the NCAA tournament. Why did Seton Hall decline? Says Lat. That's a very good question. That is a very, very good question. Now, West Virginia. Okay, West Virginia's playing in the Crown, so that's Grand Canyon. Steve, a Grand Canyon decline? Why? Apparently, I'm getting a lot on here saying San Diego State declined. I'm looking at this thing on here. The only teams it's showing on here officially as of right now are Belmont, Cincinnati, Florida State, and Virginia Tech. Are the four teams it shows here that declined NIT bids. Belmont, Cincinnati, Florida State, and Virginia Tech. Florida State and Cincinnati make no sense to me. Cincinnati played themselves out of the tournament with that game they blew in the Big 12 to UCF. But that's the only four teams it's showing on here as of right now. Now, maybe possibly later, there will be some more. Yeah, well, West Virginia. Again, I thought, obviously I'm wrong on that Big 12 thing. I thought the Big 12 was only contracted for the Crown, but if Cincinnati declined a bid and Oklahoma State is in, obviously that's incorrect, what I thought. But when West Virginia looks like they had an invite to the NIT, but they are going to the Crown. Okay, I beg your pardon. I thought the Crown only has 8 teams. I beg your pardon. I thought it had 16. So the Crown only has 8 teams going. Okay, so Timothy, you're saying that you got San Diego State's off of their webpage. Well, let's just go there and find out. Okay, there's nothing directly on San Diego State's website. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Well, I'm not saying that didn't happen. But nothing is showing up on their site saying that there is. But I'm not saying it didn't happen. But let me look one more time to see. Somebody was asking if I'm going to do the crown reveal, and if they draw the field here, I'd be more than glad to stay on for the reveal of the crown tournament. But I don't know that. I don't know when there's nothing on here, even on their website, saying what time the official reveal is. Okay, yeah, it is only an 8-team tournament. That's my mistake. I think I said 16. I thought it was 16 teams, but apparently it's only 8 in the Crown. Yeah, there's a okay, somebody conservative cowboy here on the live chat saying South Carolina declined an NIT according to the Carolina Daily News. Line plays on the live chat, anxious to see if they will expand the NCAA tourney. Well, let me throw it in live chat. What do you guys think? Should the NCAA tournament be expanded, or do you like it where it is? Like to get your thoughts on that. Visit to the pit is definitely a bucket list. Yes, that's definitely one of the arenas, definitely on my bucket list. I want to get there someday. Have not made it over there yet. Hopefully, one of these days, I'll be able to catch a game over there. Back to the thing in the live chat, line play, about expanding the tournament. I like it at 68. There's one thing I would like to change on the first 4 format. Maybe I mentioned this earlier. It might have been when I mentioned it when I was doing the NCAA stream. I can't remember. I know I mentioned it once or twice tonight. I can't remember when exactly it was. So if I mentioned this before, I apologize. The only thing I would like to see changed with the first 4 format, I would like that to be the last 8 at-large teams. I don't think it's right. I don't care what conference you play in, what conference tournament you're in. I don't like if you win your conference tournament, you should automatically be in the main draw of the tournament. You shouldn't win your conference tournament, then have to turn around and play a first 4 game to get qualified for the main draw of the tournament. No, if you win your conference tournament, I don't care what it is, automatic bid for the conference tournament winner. If you win your conference tournament, you should automatically be into the main draw of the tournament. That's the one thing I have never liked, that about conference tournament winners still have to go the first 4 to qualify to get in the main. No, so I would like to see that change in the first 4. And like I said, I like 68 teams. The only way I would be Minnesota, that's another upset there in Division 2. I saw that was Minnesota Duluth. That's a team. The only way I would be for an expansion in the NCAA tournament is if the regular season winner, the only way I would like to see it expanded is if you would also include the regular season winner as well as the conference tournament winner if it's 2 different teams. All conferences. That's the only way I would be in favor of expansion. Regular season has to mean something. And we've seen teams get hot in conference tournaments when you only win 10 games all season. Georgia Southern, who somebody brought up in the live chat, perfect example. In the Sun Belt, they win 5 games. They have to play early in the tournament because they finish lower in the standings. They win like 4 or 5 games and almost got the automatic bid. Troy did beat them in the Sun Belt final. And then when these 1 bid leagues, If that happens, ask Yale in the Ivy League. I mean, so that would be the only way I would be in favor of expansion. Guys, I don't know that we are going to get a bracket in the Crown before I'm going to have to sign off here, because this doesn't. Again, I wish I knew when exactly that, but I've been doing like a Google search and anything. It doesn't give an exact time when that bracket's going to come out. So I don't know. We know West Virginia's in because it said on that one that I looked at that they declined an NIT bid to go to the Crown. So we know West Virginia's in there. But that's the only team of the 8 that looks like is set in stone right now. I'm sure it's a case of all these teams are declining and they still have to try to reach out to fill the field. But if we want to talk some more, I can stay on here for about another 10, 15 minutes or so if we want to talk some more about the NIT bracket, or if we have any thoughts about the NCAA tournament bracket, feel free to jump in and give some thoughts here, as this best time of the year for a college basketball fan, these next 3 weeks. Going back to this NIT bracket here, do we see any possible upsets here? Unfortunate for Dayton, but having to go on the road. But of course, with UD Arena used for the first 4. And nice to see Yale get a home game there in the first round. They had a great season there, fell short in the Ivy League title game today. And Navy, and that's another team. Good to see them get postseason play. Stephen F. Austin. So there's a lot of good teams, even though there's not a lot of power teams in this NIT field. There are a lot of good teams here, and this is shaping up to be. This is going to be a fun NIT tournament. It looks like this. Okay, college basketball crown announcement tomorrow. So tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So yeah, that's conservative. Where'd you get that? Just out of curiosity, there. Conservative Cowboy 17. So I've been doing a Google search and I haven't been able to find anything about any times at all or anything. So yeah, just out of curiosity, where'd you get that at? College basketball crown does not start until later on. Now, with only an 8-team field, it'll only be, 3-day tournament? April 1st, April 4th, and April 5th. So we got, okay, April 1st, April 2nd, April 4th, and April 5th. 2 games on April 1st, 2 games on April 2nd, the semifinals on April 4th, and then championship game on April 5th. Nebraska, the college basketball crown winners a season ago. Okay, you got it off USA Today. Okay. Okay, here is the so it looks like okay, well, I was going to say it looks like we have a list of teams that the total list of teams that declined NIT bids, but then there's a paywall on this. So that's anyway. So anyway, that's whatever. I've already given my 2 cents on that. So the college basketball crown announcement apparently will be at 5:30 tomorrow afternoon. My full-time job, I'm probably not going to be able to be home in time to do that, unfortunately. But however, looking at this NIT bracket and with this, I'm hoping to be able to be with you all on Tuesday on my live stream here on my YouTube and Kick channels to do that first round game of the NIT between Liberty and George Mason. It is a 6 o'clock Eastern time start, so it's iffy on if I'm going to be able, but if I can do that, I would like to jump on my live stream and do that first round game between Liberty and George Mason. I will keep updated on my pages on to see if I will indeed be able to get on and do that or not. So I'll have an update. I probably won't be able to have an update till Tuesday. It depends on workload at work and all that. So we have the official NIT bracket out now. NCAA men's bracket is out. College basketball crown announcement will be tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern time, it appears. Thanks to my buddy Conservative Cowboy on the live chat for that bit of information there. I think that's about it for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and probably sign off here on the live stream. And again, I will try to keep an update on my page. This on Tuesday, I would like again to be able to do that Liberty George Mason first round game in the NIT. Play it by ear, have to check on my workload and everything. Okay, so it looks like Belmont, Virginia Tech, Seton Hall. Those are the 3 I knew. Florida State, I knew that one. And Indiana, yeah. San Diego State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the first team out in the NCAA tournament. So, all right. So anyway, that is going to wrap it up tonight, and I will again try to have an update on Tuesday on if I will jump on, but if I can, I will jump on for that Liberty George Mason first round matchup in the NIT that is coming up on Tuesday. Appreciate everybody. It's awesome talking to you guys on the live chat. Again, apologies for the delay on getting this started, but we got it through, so that's the important part there. And appreciate all you all that subscribe tonight as well. My name is John Sportsmananza John on YouTube. If you do like my content, really would appreciate a like and subscribe from you. Also on Kick tonight at Sports Kick John. I do also have some content on Twitch at Sport Guru John. Again, hope to be back with you Tuesday night for NIT first round action. I will keep my page updated as best as I can to let you know if that's going to happen or not, but hopefully we'll talk to you Tuesday night for that first round NIT matchup. If not, I'll try and find a matchup to do. It depends on when I get home. I'll have an update for you. Line Plays, you're awesome. I appreciate the subscription from you. And I will talk to you down the road. There's going to be a lot of action going on the live stream. Don't know what times or anything yet, but college basketball is that's my big go-to. So I do really enjoy college basketball. So I do I will admit I do try to keep up with as much as I can on that. Thank you all, everybody, and I will talk to you sometime down the road here with some college basketball tournament action. Appreciate y'all, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening. God bless.